Well, I'd like to maybe take you through the Feleena, introduce you to her. That's my bus's name. And this is, of course, the front seat. I'd like to show you some of the work that I've done on it and some of the blood that Feleena pulled from me. This is the cab up here in the front. And I basically repainted all of this, put carpet in. It was really a mess when I first started. I had a new windshield put in, both sides. Of course, this up here on the dash was really corroded up. Took a lot of work, not a lot of work, but a little work. I built this wall here because this wall, I wanted to make sure I could separate myself from the cab and from my living quarters. Most folks don't do this, but I just wanted to make sure I had this done, because when you come in, you can lock this, but when you get in there, you can also lock your doors. So you got two locks and two doors that you can keep yourself safe for whatever reason. This is my, I wanted to have a bathroom. I wanted to put it close up here because of all of the water and heating and gas and stuff. And I also put a door on it. Thought about putting just a cloth door, but these are a lot better. I had hesitations about putting a stove in, but I'm glad I did, because it gets pretty cool here down in sometimes in the 30s at nighttime, and it's being an old man, I don't have any insulation, so that fire is invaluable. This thing had air conditioners in it, which I didn't want, so I took those out and put this metal in here to keep it solid and caulked it up real well. I also got this from a friend of mine. He gave me this and I couldn't figure out how to use it, so I turned it upside down and put some boards in here to put food, whatever you have. Just a great cabinet. The most important thing about what I loved about doing this, which cost me a lot of blood from Feleena, was my stove and my sink, and of course I got my water underneath here, 45 gallons. Got my hot water heater over here. This is essential if you're going to live an old man's life like me. I'm not a cook, but thank goodness I've got the facilities to be able to cook if I need to be. This here is my desk that I put in because I do love to write poetry and write, so this is why I put this in here. My friend gave me this refrigerator here while I was in Colorado, which I really appreciate. Still having some trouble with it, but we'll get that figured out. I needed places to put stuff, which I don't have that much anymore because I sold it all. But this holds all my briefcases, some of my tools, some more food. It's got stuff underneath there. It covers the fender well. I didn't know what to do with it, so I thought, well, I'll put another one over here for my closet. This is where I put my clothes. I still store underneath here. Got brackets to hang stuff on. This works out real great. This is my bedroom here. Got a nice half bed here. Got it raised up off the floor so I can see out the windows. The back door here opens up. I keep it locked at night, just, you know, for safety precautions. But it lets a lot of air come through, especially when it's hot. Cools it off. You don't want to leave it open in the cold though. I have to sleep in the dark because I can't stand light, so everything's blackened out in here as far as the windows are concerned. It's comfortable. I sleep well. You have to adjust yourself from each place you go because of the different climates and the humidity or altitude or whatever it may be, but believe me, it doesn't take long when you've got a nice bed. And that's one of the most important things, is making sure that you have something that is comfortable to sleep on to get rest, because that is the essence of your body, is sleep. This is some of my old ropes I used when I cowboyed. This is a very rare one. I have to keep those, keep the memories of Cowboy alive. This is my horse Copper, back in Colorado. It's made out of copper. That was his name, Copper. A friend of mine made this back in Texas. He found this, and I told him I'd like to have a rattlesnake made out of it, and dang if he didn't come up with the most unbelievable rattlesnake that I've ever I've ever seen. It's hand done. Everything on it is. This is for self-protection. Keep it on your horse, whatever. When I say self-protection, it's got weights on the end of it, and it will hurt when you whomp somebody with it, especially if they're attacking you or trying to steal something from you. You don't have to kill them. You just let them know that pain is what makes them stop doing what they're doing. This here is a Marine cap that was not used, but worn by a fellow I knew back in Colorado. He was in the March of Death when the Germans marched him through there, and he actually wore this hat, this Marine hat. These are rattlesnake vertebra. I hunt rattlesnakes. I don't kill them when they're alive. I find them when they're dead, but I used to a long time ago. This is one of my barbed wire hat bands. Cowboys used to wear these. I couldn't afford a hat band, so we used to make them out of barbed wire. Of course, you got to be real careful, because if you don't put them on right, you're going to have holes in your head. Well, I could show you one of my old cowboy hats. This is one of the old barbed wires that I had a long time ago. It's on my cowboy hat. And this is another old Ewer cowboy hat. Here where my desk is, this of course is a mountain lion skull. I didn't kill the mountain lion. He was already dead when I found him. This is some of my turkey beards back when I was a hunter, which I'm not anymore, unless I need food. This is a double beard here. Actually, it's two beards. It's pretty rare. This here is another thing that I made. I seen this and it looked like a snake, so I found things to put it together with. It's even got a rattler on it. Hey, you become amazed at what you can do when you're out on the trail as a nomad. For instance, you don't get bored, you just get inspired when you're out here. Inspired to do things that you thought about doing, but you never did. And this is a $100 per can Cowboy Fresh Piss. It expires in $20.99. And if it's empty, the Cowboy will refill it. Of course, you got to give them the $100 first. This is me back when in Colorado. I went to a hat making class there at a college there, and the fellow that was instructing this was a 5-time world champion hat maker. He also made all the hats for this movie Tombstone. All the actors that had in there, he made those, and this is me here making my hat, putting my rattlesnake hat band on top of it. They wasn't interested in the hat, they was interested in what the band was, which ticked me off. This is an old piece of stuff I found, just a matter of fact, a couple of weeks ago down there in a little ditch. Come off the motorcycle that had been crashed or abandoned, and wanted a memo from it. So this memento will always let me know where I've been, and that's what you need to do. These are my grandkids. Grandkids add sparkle to life, and they definitely do. But when all your children are in the military, you don't get to see your grandkids that much, but you've always got pictures of them. Well, that come from one of my old hats, my old Stetson hats. This here was Ignacio Rosales. He was 120 years old, and I'm sure he's dead now because I've had this thing for 30 years or longer. But I thought it's a wonderful, wonderful painting. So I wanted to hang on to. A friend of mine in Houston had that. And of course, this is one of my favorite bands, the Eagles, Desperado, and of course, Tocati, Let's Party. My son had this in his bedroom, Jacob, for years and years. And when he left to go to the Navy, I couldn't let it go. I had to take it. These are a couple of arrows my friend at Phoenix University made. He's a hand maker. He's a flint makes arrows, hatchets, a little bit of everything. He's a wonderful, wonderful artist and man. This here is a couple of my walking sticks that I made. The little 9-year-old girl gave me this one. I turned it into this. Found this on the top of a hill when my knee went out one time up in Colorado. If I hadn't found it, it's a long story behind it, but it's precious to me. This is when I cowboyed on the Kennedy Ranch. We were doing a roundup. I didn't know they were taking pictures of me until I came up on her, and she said she was taking videos. And I said, well, don't like it, but go ahead. But I'm glad she did. That's really inspired me. This is honor my son, which is Major in the Marine Corps. My oldest son was 2 years in Desert Storm. My youngest son's been on the USS Carl Vinson for 8 years now, I guess. Very proud of them. All little things are the most important. It's not the big things. It's not how big a truck you got. It's what the truck means to you. It's important. Little things. Picking up devil's claws in the areas that I went with my friends. Picking up rocks, mementos, beautiful things that you've never seen before. You've seen them on TV or you've seen them on the computer, but not in your hands. It's a big difference. This here is a picture of two of my horses. This is Copper and this is Jake's. Jake's passed away now. But the photographer from Trinidad could not get near this baby elk. The mother had left it, and these two horses, two male horses, had taken care of this baby elk for 2 days. They wouldn't let a human get near it. And then the mama came back and got her baby 2 days after this photo. That's why I love horses. That's why I love baby elk and big elk and all animals. This is Epic Times. They just produced my Cowboy Code up in New York 3 months ago, 4 months ago, I don't remember. But I'm hopefully it's for the next generation of cowboys, if there's any at all. I hope there is. On this site in 1897, nothing happened. And when you say nothing happened, you don't look for things to happen. You just enjoy the happening, whenever it is or wherever it is.